What's up? Welcome back to Seahawk Talk with me, Joe Stevens, and today we are simulcasting on Ryan's channel at Seahawk Recap Show. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I've
Yeah,
had a busy week. Had a busy week.
yeah, yeah. Well, first thing I want to ask is, before we get into any Seahawk stuff specifically, is how do you feel about the Super Bowl? But
Oh man, my Super Bowl predictions, man. I'm looking back at them, and they were not good at all. I've lost every single one of my predictions, so I'll be making a video on that shortly after the Super Bowl. But it's a matchup of rematch of Super Bowl 54, so I know a lot of people, especially football fans, didn't really want this matchup for Chiefs and 49ers, myself included.
I
But,
like the Chiefs. I
you
don't mind
know,
the Chiefs.
it is what it is. I'm happy to see who will come out on top of this matchup.
Yeah, let's just hope it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's who
Yeah.
you're rooting for as well. Um,
Honestly, I don't really care. I want it to be a close, tight game, and that's all I want. Just no more blowouts, no more shenanigans in that area, and we'll be good.
I don't know. So I'd be pissed if the 49ers blew the Chiefs out.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs blew the 49ers out, I'd be pretty happy. I don't see that happening. Um, I think the 49ers are going to win the game. I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
We'll see, man. The Chiefs for me, man. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Like I said in my Super Bowl predictions
Hmm.
now a day ago, I just can't. After seeing what Mahomes did to the Dolphins, seeing what he did against the Ravens, seeing what he did against Buffalo, I'm just like, okay, so those receiver issues look to be cleared up at this moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, and
Should be an entertaining game.
their defense has been playing pretty good. That's different.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's insane to see from that defense. I love watching defensive football, so it's always fun.
but yeah, where are you watching the game from? You watching it from home or?
Yeah, I'm watching it from home. I'm gonna watch it on CBS, and then I'll be doing the reaction. Hopefully, that'll be out by Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. But we'll see. It's always a gamble when I do things. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. Let's just get to the biggest news. We haven't talked for a long time, so
yeah,
Pete Carroll obviously got fired. They bring in
yeah.
a new they bring in a new head coach, and Mike McDonald seems to be they're swinging for the fences. They didn't bring in just a lame duck guy like Dan Quinn or there was another name floating around there, Mike Vrabel.
Mike
Um,
Vrabel, yeah.
yeah, they didn't bring in a guy. They're bringing in a guy that they think gives them the best chance to win. And you as fans, it doesn't feel like, oh, here we go. Here's just a rewatched version of what we had. So, how do you feel about Mike McDonald? I'm assuming you're jacked up like everybody else.
Honestly, for me, so when the Pete Carroll news dropped that he was fired, I was
Hmm.
sitting there in my chair like, okay, so I have to record a video now, because again, for those of you who don't know, my Seahawks fandom started in 2013 all the way through. So I've never known a head coach of the Seattle Seahawks without Pete Carroll. So it's very interesting to me that when they let him go, I was like, okay, well, it was time. Obviously, 14 years with the organization, it's time for him to skip or at least leave the team into another direction. And getting Mike McDonald, man, that was one of the most perfect fits to replace Pete
On
Carroll
paper, on
on
paper.
paper. On paper.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out. Obviously, I've been through 4 head coaches in my life.
Yeah.
Um, only 3 that I remember. And one thing that I'd advise people that think the grass is greener without Pete, the people that were calling for Pete's head, is I've seen this team without Pete Carroll and how inept the team was before he got here. Even under Mike Holmgren, Mike Holmgren was an awesome coach, but there was a few years there where we were pretty terrible. Um, even the terrible years by Pete's standards, I consider this one of them. I consider 2021 one of them. Um, they weren't as bad as what I've seen from other people. So,
Yeah. And the thing to add on to that, I obviously am a diehard Pete Carroll fan.
mhm.
He got me into the sport, and I've loved it ever since. So all respect to Pete Carroll. Um, but my whole thing with cautioning Seahawks fans, like you just did there, is that just because you think that it was Pete's time to go, it's now all up in the air. The system's up in the air. How we're gonna draft is up in the air. At least with Pete Carroll, we knew kind of where he was going in the draft philosophy side of things. Now it's just all up in the air. So be prepared for that. I'm excited for the new chapter, but I'm a little bit hesitant to say that Mike McDonald is going to carry us to a Super Bowl in the next couple of years.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's just it's it's something else. It's going to be a lot different. The vibes are going to be a lot different. Obviously, this guy's kind of more of a Harbaugh. Obviously, he brought in Jim Harbaugh's son. Um, he came from the Harbaugh tree. Was at Baltimore and Michigan. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll see. And another thing I'd beware people about is we're not with John, but with Jim. Wherever Jim goes, he kind of wears out his welcome a little bit. Let's hope this guy doesn't do it. He spent more time with John than Jim, to be fair. But that's one thing that Harbaugh is known for is he kind of by the time he leaves, people are ready for him to leave,
Yeah.
and it's not very
Yeah.
long. So
Yeah. With the coordinators and things like that, when we brought in Jay Harbaugh
mhm.
to the
Special
special
teams.
teams, I
Yep.
was just sitting there and I'm like, okay, forgive me, I have not watched enough college football this season to really know what Jay Harbaugh, excuse me, is really like. But from my point of view, Larry Izzo, um, for me at least on the special team side of things, I was quite surprised that he was let go after 3 years because I thought special teams for the last 3 years has been one of our strengths on this
Well,
team in a
let's
little bit
see.
of a sense.
They fucking field out DJ Dallas every week, and that I did have a problem with.
Yeah, that I
Um,
also did have a problem with. I
yeah, so
wanted I wanted Eskridge to be in that spot or
I don't ever
somebody
want to.
else.
I don't ever want to see Eskridge in a Seahawks uniform again. Um, yeah, we'll see. There's gonna be a lot of change, but everybody also has to remember that John Schneider is still in charge.
Yeah,
He will be the one making the final decisions in drafting. They're gonna work like a team. It sounds like him and Pete, but he'll just kind of take the final say. Used to always be Pete, right? And people never
yeah,
understood that. But nobody ever understood that. Um, but he has the final say now. But he's still the same guy, right?
yes.
So let's see. I don't think their draft philosophy changes a whole lot from what it's
No,
been.
I don't see their draft philosophy changing drastically. Again, like you just mentioned, John Schneider is still there. And considering he gets the final say on everything at this point, I wouldn't expect a huge change. I just want to see the on-field product. I'm so ready for 2024 already for
Oh,
that
me
season
too.
to get going because I just want to see what happens.
I think just about everybody is. I think everybody's ready for the season to start, even though off season hasn't even technically started yet.
We
Because
got
there's
one game left.
yeah one game that nobody wanted to see.
Nope.
Um,
I will. I will
but
second
yeah,
that.
no, there's been offensive coordinator talk. So Ryan Grubb's obviously a big name.
Yeah.
Uh, another one, Chip Kelly. He got another job today. Thank
Ohio
God.
State. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is
I heard a lot of Chip Kelly news surrounding his name. I'm like, I know a little bit about Chip Kelly, and none of it was good. None of what I
uh,
heard about Chip Kelly was great.
well, the problem is he's only been a head coach, right? So what can he do as a coordinator? But
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about that. Obviously, I'd like Ryan Grubb. I'm a
Okay, yeah,
Huskies fan. I think he runs a great. So basically, they talked about college coaches not being able to run a pro style offense. Well, that's what he ran, was a pro style offense in today's NFL. He ran the ball, so he passed the ball 59% of the time. The Seahawks last year passed the ball 61% of the time. So I wouldn't be
yeah.
concerned.
So he would fit
Yeah,
in
he's
that
more of a
kind of
run.
metric.
Yep, and his offenses are just, I don't know how to describe it. He gets the ball to the right people. He gets the ball to the playmakers. So right,
Good,
that's why
good.
Roma Dunze is going to be a top 10 pick. That's why Jalen McMillan and Jalen Polk are going to be day 2 picks. Dylan Johnson's probably going to get drafted. Nobody would have thought that coming into the season. So he took an offensive line with a bunch of no names, really, other than the left tackle and Troy Fatanu, and they won the Joe Morris Award for best offensive line in all of college football last year. So if they get Grubb, draft Penix, sit him for a year, I'd be totally happy with that. Let him sit behind Geno for a season. Kind of do what they did with what Kansas City did with Mahomes and Alex Smith, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith. I look at Alex Smith and Geno Smith about the same, right? I
Yeah,
think they're both mid-tier quarterbacks that have been around the block a few times, and I think no matter who we draft, whether it's Penix, Bo Nix, whether hell Jaden Daniels, no matter who we draft, I think they should still sit a year uh,
yes,
behind Geno. It, even as much as I don't want to say it, even somebody else. So
yeah, yeah. For me, it's more. I'm on that train as well. If you're gonna draft a quarterback, I don't know what I don't know what quarterbacks will be there at 16. Um, from just what I've been hearing,
see, my
from
problem is my problem. Not to
metrics
cut
and
you
things.
off,
Yeah, go ahead.
but my problem isn't at 16. I don't think they should draft a quarterback at 16.
Me neither. Me
Maybe if
neither.
Jaden Daniels there, but I think what my philosophy is right now, I want to see them move back in the first round, pick up some more picks, um, and then move up into the second round is where you can take a guy like Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's my philosophy when it comes to that.
yeah. I can agree with that. Like a lot of Seattle fans, like I know a lot of Seattle fans wanted Penix. I know a lot of Seattle fans we want a QB. I know that's the sentiment. But at 16, either you trade down like you just said, or you pick up. For me it's O line right now. We've still got a bit of a
Interior.
issue with interior O line, especially. Um, and I want to know, just while we're on the subject of O line, I want to know how Abraham Lucas his knee's going to hold up next season,
Well,
because if
that's a
his
question that's just going to have to be answered, right?
yeah,
So
if his knee does not hold up, then you draft a tackle, because at that point, like, he did not have a good season this year because he was just injured. He was battling a bunch of different issues, and we had to rely on, again, Jason Peters. I love the man, but he's 40. I'm not expecting
he's
him
younger
to
than
be
the
in
head
this game.
coach. He's not coming back.
Oh no, I know. That's what I mean. Like, I'm
Or
not.
sorry, he's older than the head coach. The
I'm
head
not
coach.
even. But no, for me, this draft philosophy, like, again, I haven't paid much attention to mock drafts and things, because, again, I
Me
don't
neither.
I
Not yet.
haven't watched enough college football to make my predictions and things of that. Like, I'll get more into in depth looking at people, but for right
Mm.
now, there's a position need at interior O line, and we at least need to look at linebacker.
Oh,
And
obvious.
the reason why I say we need to look at linebackers, look at who we have in terms of re-signs. Bobby Wagner needs to be re-signed if he's coming back.
Maybe.
Devin Bush needs to resign if he's coming back, and we got Jordan Brooks as well. So there's your three middle linebackers right there. If you're not going to be able to re-sign any of them, then you need to draft a linebacker at 16. I think.
Yeah, I think I've said this on other shows with people. If you're able to get Bobby back for $5 million, you do it.
Yes.
He's a guy you can play on rundowns only, first and second
Yes.
down. We
I
saw
agree.
this year. I love Bobby Wagner just as much as everybody else does, but um, we're gonna need to have two other inside linebackers
Yes.
that are able to play passing downs. I don't know if Jordan Brooks is it. It's a price tag thing. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
worth as much as somebody's going to pay him. But look at what Mike McDonald did with Patrick Queen. I mean, Patrick Queen and Jordan Brooks were
Yes.
taken, I think, back to back, and
I believe so. Yeah.
they both had the same trajectory going into this year and last year. And Patrick Queen's a freaking all-star now, and
Yeah.
Brooks. I'm not saying Brooks is bad, but I'm just saying he's not what Patrick Queen is. So
No. And
yet.
yeah, yet. Well, and that's the thing I was gonna talk about is you need to bring at least one of those three guys. If you're not gonna be able to keep Jordan Brooks, then you need to bring back Bobby Wagner or Devin Bush.
No,
Out
you
of the
can let him go. You can let
out
Devin
of,
Bush go.
but the thing about Devin Bush is, okay, I might be the only one that really likes him. But
Maybe.
I really do. For some reason, I really do, which is it's really weird, and I can't tell you really why. But I think he's an okay option. I just I wanted to see more of him this year, of course, but I think if you're looking towards the future, again, I would love to have Bobby back, but if he's not going to sign for 5 mil or something in that
Or
range,
less.
or
Or
less, even,
less.
yeah,
I wouldn't even pay any more than that. I'm sorry. I get
yeah,
you're a legend, but it's football. It's what are you going to do for me
yeah,
this year? It's not what did you do for
yep,
me 5 years ago. So
and with well, and that's the thing with this team right now is that this was the make or break year for this entire Pete Carroll system. When I saw Pete Carroll was fired, I'm like, okay, so that means the legends that are here, that means Tyler Lockett, for example, that means Bobby Wagner, for example, could be leaving this team just because it is a football business. And now the guys that are coming in, like Mike McDonald, do not have a um, a pedigree with these guys. He's going to
yeah,
bring in his own guys. He's going to want his own guys,
yeah.
and
Well,
that's
like
exactly
we said earlier, that Snyder has final say, right? So Snyder has
yeah,
relationships with these guys, but it's not going to be the same. No. So
yeah. Well, and that's what I think. I want to know at this point. I really want to know if Schneider was the one to keep Bobby Wagner around and Tyler Lockett, or if that would have been a Pete decision. I want to see
I'm
if
leaning towards
John
a Pete
Schneider.
decision. I'm
Yeah,
leaning
I am
towards a
too.
Pete
I am
decision.
too.
And you know what? I guess Lockett said he'd rather retire than play somewhere else. So
Yeah,
let
that
him
works.
walk. We need to get his. We need to get a sal. He's owed $26.6 million this year.
Yeah,
Um, who
yeah.
else is it? Quandre Diggs? He needs to go.
Quandre Diggs.
We have Jarek Reed. We have Kobe Bryant at safety. We have Julian Love at safety.
Yeah,
This isn't Pete Carroll's defense. We don't need three safeties on the field at the same time. Jamal
no.
Adams, he needed to go 2 years ago. He
He
needed to
needs
go.
to
He needed to
he
go
needs to
before he got
either
here.
yeah, he either needs to go right now in like a trade or a
You can't trade him.
postseason cut or something. Like he needs to either go or he needs to move positions to linebacker.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem, Ryan. Is you watched the games last year, right?
Yeah,
Everyone.
I watched all the games. Yeah.
Is he not one of the worst tacklers you've ever seen in your life?
Uh He's not good, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so linebacker is not an option.
What? But I'm talking about you don't rely on him for the passing downs. You move him as an off the ball where he can rush the passer, because that's where I think you can say, like, I know I'm defending Jamal Adams and that's a crazy losing battle. However, in my ideal, you move him from safety, you move him to one of the outside linebacker spots, either left or right, and you have him rush the passer, because that's where his strengths lie. It's not in pass coverage. We saw what happens in pass coverage. He does not pass coverage at all.
No,
so,
and he doesn't tackle, and that's the issue. He needs to be gone.
Yeah,
he's a waste.
Yeah.
He's a waste of space on this team. He's a waste of money.
I agree.
He's a shitty person. He's a shitty person. He's a shitty player. I've been off the Jamal Adams bandwagon for quite some time now.
Yeah, this season sealed it for me.
Let's see, we got Diggs on the chopping block. We got Adams on the chopping block. Possibly Lockett. Disley's another guy.
I don't want Lockett to go. I want to keep Lockett. Just
restructure.
Restructure his contract. At this point, I really like the wide receiver group that we have with JSN, DK, and Lockett. Lockett is much more, now his role is a much more safety blanket kind of guy that you'll need for route running purposes.
That can't be making $26 million a year.
No, it can't, and that's why you need to restructure it. If you're going to bring back Tyler Lockett, you're going to need to find a way to restructure him, because his role on this team, at least in my eyes, has theoretically changed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then another guy that's going to be gone, Will Disley. He's due for $11 million this year, which...
Yeah, nope, not good enough.
I'm just trying to think in my head without looking up. There was somebody else. Keep Draymond Jones. He's perfect for this team.
Draymond Jones.
He might be gone, Draymond Jones, because
I'm expecting him to be gone. The reason why is because I want Leonard Williams back. Okay. Leonard Williams, to me, at least from what I saw, the mid-season trade that we made for him, you're gonna have 10 games of him for this season. If you do not bring him back and you gave up a second for him, I'm gonna riot. Just because
here's the problem with that, Brian. Here's the problem with that. I get that Leonard Williams looked good. I would. Yeah. A lot of people think he looks great. I thought he looked good.
I think he looked good. I'm not saying he looked great.
Here's the problem: if you're not fully committed to him, don't re-sign him.
Yeah,
we made this mistake with Jamal Adams. We have to re-sign him because we traded 2 first-round picks. We overpay for him, right? Because Leonard Williams has all the leverage. He's like, fuck, I can just walk.
Right now he does, yeah.
Yeah, don't fall into it. If it didn't work out, just cut your losses. Sorry, everybody in the chat. We're gonna have to go pretty soon. I got some stuff to do, so I really apologize.
Yeah, apologize for that, guys.
Yeah, well, how about this? Let's just for the last 4 or 5 minutes, let's just answer the chat question.
Okay, yep. Go ahead.
Want to say what's up, Syjan, Steve-O, Bryant, and John J. Sorry. What's up, everybody? Thanks for being in the chat. First question is, who would you want to draft to sit behind Gino?
And this is where it all falls. At this point, for me, because it's going to be really weird, but because we're looking at a Michigan coaching staff from the head coach and Mike McDonald, do we draft
McCarthy?
I forget his name. McCurdy. Yeah.
McCarthy.
Do we draft JJ McCarthy, sorry. And at that point, I would either want Penix or McCarthy in there. And I'm leaning towards McCarthy just due to the fact that he was part of the Michigan system, and McDonald is a Michigan guy, but we'll see what John Schneider does with that decision. If we get Penix, great. He can sit behind Geno Smith. But I'm leaning towards JJ at this point.
Yeah, see, I didn't like JJ McCarthy. He did awesome the first half of the season because they played super weak opponents. And
Yeah,
then the second half, his numbers dipped because he played, stronger
he
opponents,
played better.
and they ran the ball 95% of the time. Um,
Mm,
I'd argue, as much as I hate Oregon, and trust me, guys, I hate Oregon, I think Bo Nix is a better quarterback than JJ McCarthy is.
yeah, that's another guy, eh? I
Um,
completely forgot about him.
like I said, I hate Oregon. I don't like Oregon at all, but I think Bo Nix is better than JJ McCarthy. Obviously, I want Penix. I want him to stay in Seattle. I think he'd like to stay in Seattle personally.
Yes.
He actually trains with Gino in the off season, all last off season, so that would make a lot of sense.
Okay, that's a
Um,
link. That's a
yeah,
link. You heard it here first.
exactly. And I feel like there wouldn't. Gino's a cool enough guy to not get butt hurt that they're bringing in a guy to replace him. I feel like
Yes,
he's
because
not gonna.
he knows his role.
Yeah, he's a
He knew his
bridge.
role when he came in. Yeah, he knew his role when he came into the team. He knows his role when he comes out of the team. So at this point, it's not about worrying about Geno Smith's feelings. Geno knows what he needs to do, and that is to lead the next quarterback when he leaves. So
Yeah. Um, let's see. There was another question that Sijan said. Fant and Parkinson, they're both supposed to be free agents.
yes, I like Noah Fant. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if I again because this is all speculation. I'm hesitant to give a number at which you
Oh,
should
me
pay
too.
him.
Yeah, me too.
Um, but my thing with this year in Seattle is you look at Shane Waldron and you look at what offense they were running. They used the tight ends, but it seemed a lot more um, down in receptions. So with the new scheme coming in from Mike McDonald, I would like to see Fant and Parkinson back, and you cut your loss with Will Disley. Um,
I'd like
but I
basically,
just don't know.
whoever, and obviously, I think Parkinson's going to be cheaper.
Yes,
Between
agreed.
Fant and Parkinson, now this is just me personally. I'm not a tight end guru, right? I'm not. I didn't study the fucking tight ends all season.
Yep, no, I
Um,
didn't either. But
I feel like there's not that much of a drop off between Fant, Parkinson, and Disley. Um,
no,
so
no,
I'd go,
I think you're
I'd
more.
go with your cheapest guy to keep it in the team, and I think that's going to be Colby Parkinson.
Yeah, I do as well. I just want to see Fant because I genuinely do like Fant. When I saw him in the trade with the Russell Wilson trade, I was like, oh, we got Noah Fant. That's really cool. I really like him as a player. But if Colby Parkinson is cheaper, then you take the cheaper option
Yeah,
because we just don't know what this scheme is going to look like right now. We have no real gauge on what Mike McDonald will bring into this team because we have no OC at this moment to even
yeah.
gauge off of.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll have one by Monday. I doubt it.
I hope so.
How many players from the Ravens would come to Seattle at Coach Mac's request? I know Patrick Queen's a free agent. Fuck, I just had these written down the other day. I probably lost them, I bet, though.
Oh,
Uh,
that would be nice. Patrick Queen on this. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice.
of course I lost it. Let me see here.
That's nice.
Sorry, guys. I
Um,
swear to God I had this written down the other day.
I'm trying to think for myself here. Who would be enticed?
So Justin Matabuike is
Yep.
one of them, a free agent. And Patrick Queen is a free agent. And of course, I lost my notepad I was using that day.
No worries.
But anyways, I really got to head out of here. I'm sorry, guys, to
All right.
cut you guys off. Let's try to do something next week together where I have a little bit more time. I'm really
No
sorry
worries.
about that. So,
It's all good.
thanks to everybody in the chat. We're out.
Thanks, guys.